Afternoon, beeps. Good afternoon, everyone. How's everyone doing? Hopefully, you guys are all doing well. Don't forget, hit that subscribe button. If you guys are new to the channel, don't forget as well to like and share the vids. Have I mentioned to you guys that I've been nominated for an award? Have I mentioned it? I'm not quite sure I have. Some of you will know if you follow me on social media. If you don't, then you won't. So I thought I'd tell you guys now. So I've been nominated for an SJA. It's a Sports Journalism Award. It's the biggest journalism award in Britain. It's the big one. For us, it's the Oscars. It really is. It's the Oscars. And what's the biggest Oscar you can win? Best Picture. This is the award. Best Presenter. Your boy, out of hundreds, if not maybe a couple of thousand, has made the last 6. Is it last 6 or 7? What's going on, people? I've made the last lot anyway, put it that way. There's a big awards night, March 6th, where everyone goes sort of bow tie and dresses and stuff. And we're going to find out who wins. I'm with the heavy hitters, though. I can't lie to you guys. I'm with the heavy hitters. So who's on the list? Laura Woods is on the list. She's going for a hat trick. Gabby Logan, Mark Pugash, Amanda Davis from CNN. I'll put it up on the screen now so you guys can see. But the fact I've made the last 6 or 7 is just insane. Honestly, it's incredible. And I thought I'd just share that with you guys. Look, you never know, you know. I'm telling you now, you never know. We could win the biggest award in British sports journalism in 2 weeks. It's funny. It's funny. All right. Anyway, let's get to the stories today. Let's start with this one. Gabe Rosado. My career is like life. Life has ups and downs. Look, I think for what it's worth, I think Gabe Rosado's had a good career. I really do. And people might say, "What? Ade's lost so many times." I know, but he just keeps on coming. Just keeps on coming. And you look at who he's lost to. I mean, he doesn't lose to scrubs, apart from, and I feel bad even calling this guy a scrub, but he's not a top guy, apart from maybe Shane Mosley Jr., right? Everyone else he's lost to, he's either an up-and-coming prospect, a former world champion, current world champion, maybe he's gone up in weight, so he's losing to the best of the best. And a couple of those defeats as well, not all of them, obviously not, but a couple of those defeats I think have been pretty controversial. But the fact he's still going, I don't want to see him in his next fight. I've made a video about it already. Obviously, he's fighting Ramirez at 175 pounds when I think Rosado is a 160 guy, not even a 168. Like when he fights 168 guys, he looks undersized. 175 guy, and he's fighting the biggest 175 guy as well. Do you know what I mean? Like he's not fighting Bivol, where he would be beaten, but in terms of size-wise, you know, he can compare. He's fighting Ramirez, who, after Ramirez's last fight against Bivol, Chris Mannix asked him in the ring, "Are you going to cruiserweight?" That's how big Ramirez is. So, yeah, I don't like it. But back to Rosado. It's funny, actually, because I was watching Creed last night, the first one. And obviously Rosado's in there. Decent actor, you know. Decent actor. So maybe after this fight, and I think this will be his last fight, maybe he should go down that route and get some acting roles, because I think he's pretty good. Liam Paro suffers injury, forced to withdraw from Robbie Davis clash. That's a massive blow for that fight card, because that for me was the fight on the fight card. That's the one I was more interested about. Obviously it's headlined by Callum Smith, but I was intrigued about this one, Liam Paro versus Robbie Davis. I think Robbie Davis has looked good recently under Shane McGuigan. That's so disappointing, man. Urgh. So disappointing, because even though I work on these events, I go to these events as a fan as well. I'm ringside watching these, like, yeah, I'm excited like you guys are. And I want to see great fights. And that was the fight on the fight card. What's that? When's that fight card? March 11th. What are we now? February 21st? Hopefully they can get Robbie Davis a decent replacement. It's more likely now, though, that he fights a weight above, just so his replacement doesn't have to cut back. Sorry, has to cut down in weight. Jake Paul, Tommy Fury's dad, is actually hindering him, making him a worse fighter. Look, let's talk about it, right? Let's talk about this fight. Happened Sunday, Saudi Arabia. It's one of the biggest fights of the year. Don't shoot me down. Don't shoot the messenger. That's fact. I'm telling you now, in terms of numbers, just numbers, you know, I'm obviously not talking about skill, just numbers. This fight is one of the biggest fights that can be made this year. It's going to do, I think, what pay-per-view wise, worldwide. So not just BT Sports, but I think it's ESPN. DAZN have got the Brazilian and Canadian rights to it. So everyone's picking up little bits and pieces to make sure they've got this worldwide. I think collectively, worldwide, this fight will go over 500,000 pay-per-view buys. I really do. It's one that everyone's been talking about. I think people are way more excited than any of Jake Paul's previous opponents, so Tyron Woodley and Nate Robinson and Anderson Silva. This is the one. He's fighting, quote unquote, a real boxer now. Someone who's his size, same age pretty much, right? Same age bracket. So it's not like he's fighting an over the hill guy or a faded former MMA guy. He's fighting someone who's fresh, who's young, who's big, who's strong. Let's see what you can do. And it's got my attention. It really has. It's difficult. I've seen people do like breakdowns of this fight, and it's so difficult. How do you break down two novices? It's very, very difficult, right? These are two novices. This is what it is. I mean, remove the fact that one's called Jake Paul and Tommy Fury. One guy's had 7 fights. I think the other guy's had 6 fights. So anything can happen in this one. Anything can happen. Jake Paul can punch, I guess, right? I mean, I stutter through that just because, I mean, he's knocking out people that, I mean, most novices most novices coming up get these knockouts, right? And then it's when they go to a higher level that the knockout stops. The ones that continue knocking out, okay, they're punchers. But the guys that knock out their first 6 or 7 opponents, most guys do that, if I'm honest with you. So I'm not quite sure if he can punch. But I mean, look, the way in which he put Tyron Woodley to sleep suggests there is some pop there. And I've been around both guys as well. And Jake Paul's very stocky, very stout, but so is Tommy Fury. I have no idea how this fight plays out. Gun to the head, I will say that Jake Paul wins this one, but I don't know. Like Tommy Fury, I mean, surely is a better boxer. Is he? I mean, I think he is. Like technically, he does things a bit better for me than Jake Paul does. But I don't know. Jake Paul's got that dog in him. That kind of, you're sold by him, aren't you? Like what he says, and you kind of feel like, okay, maybe he just finds a way. That's kind of what, the way he's talking makes me believe that, okay, he's just going to find a way to win this one somehow. He is, but Tommy Fury should win this fight. Like he should, right? Again, he's the proper boxer here. I mean, did he have any amateur fights? Did Tommy Fury have any amateur fights? I'm guessing he's at about the same amount as like Conor Benn and Chris Eubank Jr. Let's have a look and see if there is any amateur stuff. 2 secs. See if we can find it. Don't know. I'm sure he's at, because I saw a fight recently of his. Let's just say he's at a handful. Let's just say he's at a handful of amateur fights. But he's at a handful of amateur fights, but he's around boxing, isn't he? He's around boxing stock. I mean, you don't get more boxing stock than the unified heavyweight champion, your dad, your cousin Huey. So he's been around that growing up. Whereas Jake Paul was making Disney videos. I know he's improved since then, but I have no idea. Look, we're going to do a live watch along for it just because why not, eh? And let's not forget the undercard. Let's show some respect to Badu Jack and Alungu Makabu, who are fighting for the WBC Cruiserweight title. I know that Lawrence Okoli, who's got a fight coming up, wants the winner of that one. And I'm guessing is Lawrence gone back to Miami? If not, Lawrence will probably be ringside for that one as well. But look, I am intrigued. I am going to go Jake Paul just because I don't know. I can't give you a reason, right? Again, I'm watching two novices. Anything could happen here. But I'm going to go Jake Paul. One reason why I will say Jake as well is Jake went a few rounds of Anderson Silva. So one thing that you can question with these novices, do you have the gas tank? Can you go a few rounds, right? Because most guys that are in gyms can go a few. They can look good after 3 or 4 rounds. Can you go 5, 6, 7, 8 when your lungs are fucking bursting? And he's proven that he can. So, yeah, I'm going Jake. That could change. Rigondeaux versus Jesus Martinez. That's happening soon. I spoke about Nonito Donaire the other day, didn't I? Rigondeaux's older and he's still fighting. It's funny, if you were to have asked me when we first saw Rigondeaux, when we first saw him, I would have said 100% he will be pound for pound and probably the greatest fighter of this generation. It's crazy how it works out. Like, I thought we were looking at something so special, and just hasn't worked out. Like, took risky fights, obviously jumping up a couple of weight classes to fight Loma. That didn't work out. I think that was, at the time, and probably will never be beaten, the most decorated amateur fight of all time. Like, two amateurs that were just, like, their amateur record was something ridiculous. I think it was something like 812 or something like that. Something ridiculous. But yeah, it's a strange thing to see him still fighting. Mauricio Lara, if Wood's team allowed him to continue, he would have suffered even more punishment. Yep, I agree. We're not going to get into that. I've made a few videos on this one. This is interesting. Liam Smith on Billy Joe Saunders. What weight are we talking? This is in response to to Billy Joe talking to Kugan Cassius. And I think Kugan asked him about the Chris Eubank Jr. fight. He said, no, why Chris? I want to fight the winner. Like, why would I want to fight the loser? Obviously, the winner of that fight was Liam Smith. Liam Smith versus Chris Eubank Jr. is done for the summer. Billy Joe says he wants one to tick over. Then he wants a big one in the autumn, winter. Obviously, if Liam Smith gets past Chris again, which I think he will, he wants to fight Liam Smith. Liam Smith, though, is like, dude, what weight? Billy Joe Saunders says he can make 168 again. I saw Billy Joe. He was there on the weekend. Obviously, look, he's confident enough that he's cut weight before. They know how to do it. But, gee, if that boy can make 168, I would be astounded. He was big. Big. Honestly, big. Like, you guys only saw the top half because of, obviously, the way Kugan interviews. Like, I saw the bottom, like the legs, the belly, the chest area. I'd be astounded if he can make 175. Like, but obviously, look, again, they know what to do. They know how to cut weight. So, I mean, good luck to them. Good luck. But yeah, I'm not convinced. Savannah Marshall hopes for Shields rematch or Cruz DAZN clash next. I think it will be Cruz DAZN next. 168. Obviously, Cruz DAZN is the 168 undisputed champion. This Shields thing's interesting because Clarissa's like, look, I came to London to fight you twice, really, right? You know, well, 3 times if you think she came for the fight where she had that clash with Savannah ringside. Was that in Cardiff? Was that on the undercard of Eubank? Liam Williams, might be wrong. I can't remember. So she's come there. Obviously, that sold the fight. Then she's come again and the fight got cancelled. Then she's come back. She might have to come back again. Like, park the ego to the side. I mean, is Shields a big name in the States? Answers on a postcard. If any of my American viewers know, let me know. I don't think she is. Like, can Shields do 15, 20,000? Can she do that? So it's all well and good Shields saying, I came over to you, you come over to me now. It's not about that with this fight. It's about where is the most money, like bums on seats, interest, intrigue, and it's here, isn't it? It's here. I think that's pretty obvious. I mean, I don't think Savannah is scared of going to America. I don't also think Savannah has that kind of pull where sort of her sort of fan base will fly to America, but she's got a pull where her fan base will go to the O2 Arena or the AO Arena, certainly. Look, they done 20,000 at the O2, obviously helped by Baumgart and Meyer, but that was the headline act. If you can do 20,000, you go to wherever you go to. And if it means Claressa has to come back over here, and then you come back over here, Claressa. You do. She would obviously look at the numbers. I think she knows she's going to come over here, but I think with her saying, I'm not coming, she's basically saying, pay me more, and I will come over. I'm the undisputed champ. I beat her in her backyard. You want me to come over, pay me? And I think that's what she's doing, because the fight in America just ain't doing good numbers. It's not doing good numbers. This isn't Katie Taylor-Serrano. It's not going to do good numbers. It really isn't. So if I'm Shields, maybe you swallow your pride and your ego for a little bit, and you speak to Dimitri Salita, you speak to Ben Shalom, and you say, okay, look, I've come over once. I beat her. I'm the champ, undisputed champ now. You pay me a bit more and I'll come over again. That's kind of what it is. Again, look at this. Michaela Mayer versus Christina Linardatou. Michaela Mayer, American. Linardatou, Greek. Fighting where? In London. Like, this is where it is. This is where it's at. Like, if you're Michaela Maya, I mean, she's decided, okay, look, where am I going to get paid the most? Like, UK? Fine, let's go. That's what people are doing. That's a good fight, by the way. I'm not quite sure what's left in Linardatou. She, obviously, you guys might remember her from giving Katie Taylor a really tough fight at 140. Very tough fight. She's had a fight after that. She beat Alicia Baumgardner, by the way, at 135, I think. 130 maybe. But she's had a baby. She's had a fight since the baby, but I'm not sure. And that's a tough fight as well, isn't it? Very tough fight. Danny Garcia reiterates desire to face Lara. That's what I want. Come on, Danny, man. If you want to make a real crack at this at 154, bear in mind Lara says he can't make 154, wants to fight GGG at 160. What are we doing? Like, do you really want to have these fights or do you not? Do you know what I mean? Lara. I mean, Danny Garcia should be saying, Danny Garcia is a 2-weight world champion. He should be saying, give me Lubin or someone like that. Do you know what I mean? Big fights. Please do not tell me that Danny Garcia, I must be wrong here, hasn't fought since Errol Spence. I have to be wrong. I have to be. Okay, no, he fought Benavidez. Okay, cool. I was thinking, surely not. And that was a majority decision. Yeah, but I don't know, man. I don't know. It's got to be a big name at 154. You can't be calling that Lara. I mean, sorry. Yeah, Lara. You can't be. You can't be. Cool. Hearn wants Bivol Beterbiev in Abu Dhabi, but Bivol Boatsi very possible. That's the one. It's not going to be Bivol Beterbiev next. It's not going to be. Although, I mean, if you are top rank, you'll take the money on this one. I mean, Beterbiev is what, 37, 38. They wouldn't have made good money with Beterbiev. Say what you want, they wouldn't have. I mean, the Vosdik fight, Marcus Brown, Joe Smith, Yard, not big money. Bivol Beterbiev will be big money. And if it can go to Abu Dhabi, and we know the Middle East are paying big money, I think they will let him go. If I'm Beterbiev, I'm screaming at him, like, Bob, let me fight him, please. Let me do it. And I think Bob will let him do it. I think they'll let him fight on DAZN just because the money's so big. But look, it's going to be Bivol Boatsi, surely. I mean, come on. What are we waiting for now? I mean, Boatsi hasn't fought since Craig Richards. What are we doing? What is going on? It has to be Bivol Boatsi. And then the winner, and I'm guessing most people think the winner will be Bivol, then fights Beterbiev in Abu Dhabi. Pacquiao advisor says Conor Benn fight won't be considered until there is closure on positive drug tests. That's interesting. The reason I say that's interesting is because, what does he mean closure? Does he mean closure with regards to the British Boxing Board of Control and UCAD as well? Or does he mean we're just waiting on, like everyone else in the world, waiting on the WBC situation? Because if he's talking about everything, so UCAD and British Boxing Board of Control, then there might be a problem here. Because Pacquiao Conor Benn was spoken about for the Middle East, whereas obviously Conor Benn won't need a British Boxing Board of Control license. So he would have think, I don't need you. We'll deal with that later. If Pacquiao's advisor is saying, well, no, we need... By the way, I'm saying all this, Pacquiao Conor Benn. Like, what are we... Anyway, so look, yeah, so back to it. Conor Benn, obviously, to fight in the Middle East, won't need a British Boxing Board of Control license. But if Pacquiao's advisor is saying, no, we need everything to be sorted, then there could be a hold-up. Back to it, Pacquiao Conor Benn. No, thank you. What are we doing? What are we doing? Like, honestly, I know there might not be a lot of money in this fight, but for me, the fight that Conor Benn has to have next is Echo Usman. It's Echo Usman, the British champion. What is he? Commonwealth champion as well. I think he's got an IBF international belt. That's the fight. That's the fight. Is Conor Benn above British level? If you are, Echo Usman, who's coming off a good win against Chris Congo. That's the fight to make. Pacquiao it makes no sense. Honestly, it makes no sense. Pacquiao's been retired for a while now. Leave Pacquiao alone. Jesus Christ, man. All right, anything else? No, there isn't anything else. Wish me good luck on this awards. But look, we'll do, as we always do, way more videos in between that time. Peace.